Hello friends, I decided very early on in my achievement hunting journey that I wanted 2 Xbox accounts, one for casually playing whichever games I felt like playing, and one dedicated to earning 100% and nothing less. And then I immediately spent 300 hours draining every drop of succulent achievement hunting deliciousness out of State of Decay 2. One major miscalculation later, however, I had picked up the one-hit wonder FPS Splitgate. Released in 2019, it blew up during lockdown and was then dead a week later. I very quickly understood why, and I even more quickly understood that I was in for a shit time. See, Splitgate, as I came to find out, has one of the most tedious achievements I've ever experienced. Yes, I've only been achievement hunting for 2 years, fine, but even with 2 years under my belt, I could see how much of a pain in the arse the achievement 1047 would become. In honour of the development team 1047 that made Splitgate, some hotshot developer designed a trophy that was not for playing 1047 games, not even for finding some obscure 1047 themed Easter egg that took 3 days, not for hopping through 1047 portals, no, it was for winning 1047 games. Winning, not playing. This had 2 major problems. Firstly, Splitgate 2 had been announced. The alpha for Splitgate 2 was released in early 2025. I didn't know what they planned to do, whether Splitgate would be deleted and replaced Overwatch style, whether it would just be quietly removed from the store, whether the servers would go down, so I had to assume worst case that Splitgate servers were a ticking time bomb. Secondly, by late 2024 I only had 22 wins, so I was 1025 wins away from an achievement that may well be locked away forever if the servers did close, and that would ruin the integrity of my 100% account, so I needed to prioritise it. Yes, this is sad, I'm aware. Since there's no linear structure to Splitgate as such, no story, not even perks, and achievements that don't build upon each other, this video will take a slightly different approach than normal. I won't bore you with the details, but I will talk through my experiences with this game. If nothing else, I can at least make a video chronicling my time with Splitgate, and it will all be worthwhile. If you're still doing this, well, good luck to you. If you were also out there in the trenches these last few months, sorry for killing you, it wasn't personal. But if you killed me, then I want you to know I will never forgive you. If you're considering it, my recommendation for this game is don't even bother, wait for Splitgate 2. With the servers potentially closing, a sequel on the way, and every match just you versus 4 bots with occasional blitzkriegs by random opposing top-in-the-world solo wipers or 4-man squads, there's no chance of enjoying this achievement grind. Portals or not, this game is one to miss. In fact, let's talk about Portals now, because I have some opinions. When Splitgate was released, Portals were one of the mechanics driving all the hype. In a world where Quake-style multiplayer seemed relegated to that one Doom 2016 multiplayer that ended up being really popular and the team did nothing with, it was exciting to see a return to form. But truth be told, I hated the portals. The second I had the portal-related achievements, I was straight into no portal game modes. I was already sick to death of being shot in the back every 2 seconds or chasing sweats from portal to portal to portal. Yeah, I know, it's a skill issue, but please, just let the matches end. I need to play 1,000 of them. Getting held hostage by some portal hopping inebriate for 45 minutes drove me mental. Those games were my earthly limbo. Don't get me wrong, successfully using portals was incredibly rewarding. It's fun to traverse the maps that way, yet, like everything else in Splitgate, it's well worn out its welcome by the 50th game, and we have to do 50 games 21 times, so you do the maths. The game does offer one tool for the portal oppressed, portal EMPs, which can be used to close other players' portals. Awesome idea in theory. In practice, they were kinda useless, especially at this stage in the game's life cycle. If you're not playing against achievement hunters or someone's little brother, you're playing against 4-man squads who earned 1047 3,000 hours ago. You're playing against ranked teams. Closing their portal does nothing to them. They've opened a new portal by the time the EMP hits their first, and they've already shot you in the back. No portal playlists meant games dragged on slightly longer on average, but it was well worth the sacrifice when wins were basically guaranteed. Now let's talk about the game modes. King of the Hill and Team Deathmatches always earned my vote on the no portals playlist. They were the fastest game modes to get a win on, in my opinion, if your bot teammates didn't shit the bed. Bots were always the biggest obstacle to victory, especially in modes like Capture the Flag, which I began to actively avoid. The bots didn't really know what to do, rendering that game mode miserable. The aforementioned King of the Hill is a standard game mode you'll have encountered in other similar titles. If you played Call of Duty, it's Hardpoint. If you've not played Call of Duty, it's stand on the point and win mode. 2 teams compete for an area. Whichever team controls the area earns points for the time they spend standing on it. This mode is super simple. The only time you'll have a hassle is if the only other 4 actual real living people on the game are on the other team. If I must explain the concept of a TDM to you in 2025, I'll assume you've never played a game in your life, and that's okay, just don't flex that you have a life on me. 2 teams shooting at each other, 1 kill earns you a point, and the first team to reach a score of 40 wins the match. Even in a game full of bots, this was completely up in the air sometimes. It didn't matter if I got 36 kills, if my bot teammates each went 0 and 10, we were out to dry. I've lost games where we'd be winning by a comfortable 10 points, only for the momentum to flip into a catastrophic, miserable loss that I would take really well and not whatsoever find infuriating. Finally, in the No Portals playlist at least, we had Capture the Flag. Again, it's a pretty established game mode. You capture the team's flag from their base and return it to your base. You stop the enemy team from stealing their flag back or stealing your flag. And therein lies the most important detail. You have to steal your flag back. You don't get any points if you don't have your flag. A fact that seemed to completely bamboozle my teammates. It confounded bot and living players alike. Remember the useful rhyme. If the flag's not at your base, you got egg on your face. Living players at least went for kills. Bots, these super soldiers in the glorious AI revolution, just take each other's flag and sit in the opposite corners of the map. Very helpful. I only advise playing this mode if you've got a friend to help speed up the process. The No Portals playlist might be your quickest route to wins, but the most fun you'll have will involve the party modes, or the free-for-all playlist. These included Gun Game, One in the Chamber, Zombie VIP, and Laser Tag. I love dipping into these game modes even if wins weren't so guaranteed. As time went on and my friends and I got more and more excited to cross that finish line, they, and no, not my proudest moment, would just wander around these free-for-all lobbies and let me kill them. A surprisingly heartwarming display, boys, thank you. Zombie VIP. It's simpler than it sounds. Both teams have bats and boosted movement speed and have to hunt down the other team's VIP. The VIP will have a shotgun and reduced movement speed and no access to portals. This was one of the only game modes where having a game full of bots actually improved things. These games drag when you're up against real people. There's no incentive to be quick, so these were the times when people would just try and wait out the clock or win by boring you to death. Your team has to reach a score of 10 to win the match. With bots, this is high-octane thrilling action. With human enemies, the span between 9 and 10 points to win a game could outlive a rabbit. Another Call of Duty classic. I think so, anyway. I haven't played many games, which is very obvious. Gun Game is a game mode focused on cycling through weapons. Every time you kill someone, you get a new gun. Once you've cycled through all 11 guns, the list reverses and you go back through all 11 guns. You go through an assault rifle, a battle rifle, a carbine, railgun, pistol, rocket launcher, the bat, and so on. And then you go back through all of them to get to your final kill, which is your fists. You have to win the game by punching someone to death. True to form, the bots in this game mode were absolutely clueless. I find them picking their nose in the corner of the map, making macaroni art and prank calling the local dominoes. It's a great mode for soaking up some easy wins, but damn, it was so boring. Misery loves company. And soon enough I made friends with some Americans, also going for 1047. They clued me in, probably a little too late in my journey mind you, that laser tag is the mode to do if you're wanting easy wins, and goddamn they were right. 200 hours wasted, everyone's got a plasma rifle and high speed, every player has reduced health, 2 shots and you're dead. If you're good at aiming, you'll be racking up the kills in this mode. Matches could easily be over in a matter of a few minutes. This mode again had weird bot bugs. They'd be average or mediocre at best if we played against them with your feet on the ground, but the moment you flew at all, the moment you took off from the ground, they'd activate their aimbot and you'd immediately die. Every time. Laser tag was super fun, but it was weird to have to remind myself to not leave the ground for any reason whatsoever. Finally. One in the chamber. You have a gun with a single bullet in it. If you fire at it, it's gone. If you kill someone, you get a bullet back, whether that's by shooting or melee. One in the chamber quickly became my favourite game mode. I would smash these matches out one after another, regardless of whether I was playing alone or with my friends. You typically never see more than 1 or 2 other actual human players per game, but those random surges of players every once in a blue moon would occasionally mean there'd be a full game, and then it was down to the wire. Easy as piss. There were some redeeming qualities to Splitgate. I liked the cosmetics, the free drops from daily challenges were always a nice welcome, the maps were very enjoyable aside from Club Silo and Olympus, and I really enjoyed the combat and gunfighting mechanics. That being said, I thought the guns, whilst fair and equal, were kind of boring. The queue times were slow, which is to be expected. To be fair, that's hardly a gripe. Portals, whilst cool on paper, were just not very interesting after a few uses, and the game presented no real appeal to play for a long period of time. The battle pass didn't even have anything interesting on it, making the grind feel not worthwhile at all. The achievements themselves were all obtained with no difficulty. I mean, after playing 1,000 games, the chances of you doing everything on the list is guaranteed. That being said, because I didn't use portals a lot, I did have to go out of my way to achieve a portal kill, which is, my fault, which even then only took about 10 games of me making a portal that led to oblivion, and some guy finding me, feeling sorry for me, emoting, and then sending himself to his death through my portal. Cheers, mate. So after all that, how did it go? Well, there's this cheeky little detail of Xbox achievement tracking. It tracks percentage, not raw numbers. Bizarrely, this trophy popped at 1,042 wins, so I wasn't even recording my gameplay. I was primed and ready to start recording my last game, and then this happened. My time with Splitgate ended with a whimper and not a bang. I kind of felt cheated. Even so, you can bet your ass I wasn't about to sit there for an arbitrary 5 more wins just to satisfy the needs of an achievement that had given itself up so easily. In a way, I had stolen those wins from Splitgate and I would never give them back. I was finally done. Free at last.